So, good evening, everybody. I am Dipanjan Ghosh. Today, I want to discuss a chapter that is fearing fiance. So, first of all, I come to the aspect. We know uh, the flower is the most beautiful and the conspicuous part of a flower. That is, it is clearly visible, and it is basically included within the shoot system. We know the plant, if we divide it, that is the root system and shoot system, then the flower will be within shoot system. We know flower is as a modified shoot. So the question is, what is flower? A flower is a specialized shoot in which the leaves are modified into floral structures. And we know, if we see the structure of a flower, then we see the first part is the stalk. If is there presence of stalk, if there is presence of stalk which supports the flower, then that flower that will be called as pedicel. And some flowers may be without stalk, uh, that is sessile. And we know, if we see the tip of the stalk, that is the elongated portions of the stalk, contain a cup-shaped structure which is called the receptacle, or the thalamus. And the flori parts, if we just divide the flower parts, then we see the it have been classified into four parts. One is the first part is sepi, peti, androsium, and gynosium or dinoecium. So, for remembering the students, if students want to remember it, they can classify it into two category. One is the reproductive part, and other is the non-reproductive part. The reproductive part means those parts who plays a very crucial role for reproduction. That is the male part of flower and the female part of flower. Male part of flower um, is the basically stamen which contain the bilobed anther and the filamentous part, and the female part is the pistil, which contain basically stigma, style, and ovary. So basically, what have we seen? Basically, we have seen that the reproductive part is the male part and female part, that is the stamen and pistil, uh, and which collectively called the androsium and gynosium. And basically the sepi and peti, that portions green sepi is collectively called calyx, and the large variety colored peta is collectively called the corolla. That is the calyx and corolla. That is the sepi and peti are the non-reproductive part. So students, who we want a very fundamental or generalized arrangements of the parts of a bisexual fiber. If they look forward it, then they can find out that stalk, receptacle, sepi, peti, stamen, which contain the biobed anther and stamen, anther and filament, and the pistil, that is the stigma and ovary is actually connected by style, the ovary part, and ovule. Okay. And if we go through what is complete flower, which flower will be called complete? Those flower who contain that four parts, that is calyx, corolla, stamen, and pistil, they will be denoted as the complete flower. And if is there any absence, then that flower will be denoted as incomplete flowers. And if we see that is the nectaris, that is most flowers, we know most flowers produce a sweet fragrant liquid, called the sweet fragrant liquid, which is called the nectar. It's called the nectar, and we know that the functions of nectar is to just to attract the insects like honeybees. We know the kayar, or the sweet fragment has the capability to attract different insects, and that attraction force we helps for pollination. pollination for plant. And if we just go to the general descriptions of the flora parts, then we see first part is calyx, that is sepals. Usually there are five sepals, usually, and we know. And if the sepals part, sepals may be free. If it remains the free, if we see the sepals, that is the breathing. তো এই বৃত্তিগুলো যদি কি হয় সেপাইস রিমেন ফ্রি কন্ডিশন, দেন এইগুলো কি বলা হবে, দেন এটাকে বলা হবে পলিসেপায়াস। আর ইফ দ্য সেপাইস যদি বৃত্তিগুলো যদি একসঙ্গে কি করে না, যদি যদি কনজুগেটেড ফর্মে থাকে, যদি কনজুগেটেড ফর্মে থাকে, অর্থাৎ দ্যাট ইজ ইফ দে আর ইন রিমেন ফিউজড, then they will be denoted as the gamocephalus. But students have to remember that what is the functions of calyx, functions of sepals. The sepals protect the young flower. Basically, what is the functions? The sepals protect the young flowering bud, and we know that sepals, অর্থাৎ এই বিতিগুলো, এই সেপাইগুলো, that sepals whenever modify to the color green, then that sepal has the capability to synthesize their own food. So when that sepals get green color, they also perform photosynthesis. Okay, and choroia, next is choroia. And we know in similar process, if petals may be free, then we be called the polypetaias. Only the terminology will be differ. There is polysepaias for sepai, and in case of petai will be polypetaias or gammopetaias. United whenever you will be in refused condition, then gammopetaias. And the functions of that choroia, basically the color-free and fragrant petals attract insects for pollination. They also protect stamens and pistil, especially when the petals form a tail. And now I come to the aspect that is the androecium. That is the main part of flowering plant. So we see basically in androeciums, what have we seen? The number of stamens in different flowers may vary from a few to a large number. Each stamen consists of a young filament, an anther, and body of the anther. So the anther will remain to the top portion, and the filamentous part is actually come. So it contains a young filament and anther. And we know each yolk has two pollen sacs, and within the pollen sacs contain basically pollen grains. And what is pollen grains? Now that pollen grains are basically the powdery particles of different shapes and sizes. Generally, powdery particles of different shapes and sizes. And in like calyx and choroia, like calyx and choroia, androecium can be remain free or maybe in fused conditions. Then it will be denoted as the polyandrous. It will be denoted as polyandrous, for example, petunia. And stamens are united in one group, or in two group, or in many group. They have been classified into three categories. In case of stamens, either they have in one group or two group or several group. They have been classified into three categories. One is monodiphus, diadiphus, and polyadiphus. So monodiphus, where stamens are united in one group by their filaments. Only anthers are free. For example, China rose and cotton. Diadiphus, basically these filaments are united in two group. Basically, in case of Pisum sativum or P, what have we seen? Now, out of 10, 9 stamens form a staminative, while one is free. And polyadiphus, basically, what have we seen? In case of the filaments are united in several groups, that is bombax. Okay, so you have to keep remember. And the number 4, what is the gynoecium? That is the carpase. Basically, it's also known as gynoecium or gynoecium is also known as pistil. And we know each carpay consists of 3 parts, basically stigma, style, and oval. There is a stigma, style, and it will attach to the oval. So stigma is the terminal novoic part, and and the style is the tubular cylinder stalk which connects the stigma and the ovary, and ovary is the sojourn basal portions composed of uh, one or many carpels fused together. And we know basically placenta attaches the ovules to the wall of the ovary. Placenta attaches the ovules to the wall of the ovary. So whenever we read about the presentations, then we can see the arrangement and how they attach to the ovary. So this is all about genocium, and here we know two terminology. We coined about two terminology. That is, one is monoecious plant. uh, if plant contain if one plant, if male and female flowers grow on the same plant, then that will be monoecious. For example, maize, cucumber and pumpkin. And a dioecious plant, if the male and female parts remain to the flowers grow on different plants, that is the, for example, palm, etc. And and if we look forward towards the inflorescence and presentation, then we see it is the mode of arrangement. It is the mode of arrangement. In case of inflorescence, যেটাকে আমরা বলছি কি পুষ্পবিন্যাস, inflorescence is the mode of arrangement of flowers on the axis of plant. অ্যাক্সিস অফ প্লান্ট অর্থাৎ প্লান্টের যে প্রধান অক্ষ বরাবর, সে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি কি যে যে মোড অফ অ্যারেঞ্জমেন্ট অফ ফ্লাওয়ার্সটাকেই বলা হচ্ছে ইনফ্লোরেসেন্স। whereas in case of placenta is the tissue that attaches the ovule to the wall of the ovary. That is the it is the manner in which the ovules are arranged or attached to the wall of the ovary. And we know ovules turn into seeds in the mature fruit, and their different arrangements can be seen that will differ in several fruits such as those of pea, tomato and mango or yatas, etc. So from that we see that basically flower is a reproductive organ, and we see the different parts of flowers are associated with different functions. uh, mm, so thank you.